In this video I will share my top 10 tips for your first cycle tour. I'm currently more than 50 days in on my bicycle tour and will share with you what I learned so far. Ask for help and accept help when it's offered. While traveling, especially alone, there will always be moments when you need help from others. Ask for help early and, more importantly, be ready to accept it when it's offered. Well, on the second day already I also had to ask for help. I did a little miscalculation with the water and ran out of water shortly before my camp spot. It was a Sunday in Germany, so that means all the shops are closed, so there was no possibility to buy some water, and I had two options now. Either ask for water or don't have water, which also means no dinner or breakfast, so I opted for the first one. Just approached the house, which was then the next one, which looked quite friendly. And I rang the bell and no one came, unfortunately, but I saw some people playing football, and then I approached them and asked for water, and well, I got water, also beer and a good conversation. So that was a pretty good trade-off, and already showed me that people, if you ask for help, they will help you. And there were a lot of other examples after that one where I could prove that point. Download and use relevant apps and platforms. In the cycle touring world, there's a huge community which helps you to find accommodation or place to sleep. I listed in the description a couple of these apps and platforms I have downloaded and use frequently. I would just recommend you to do that as well. I have different experiences with the platform. Sometimes people don't really reply, but I mean, they have their daily lives, and put some effort into your profile and description, especially if it's a new account, so people have trust letting you into their homes. Be approachable. The bicycle on itself is a really good conversation starter because people see that you're not just doing like a small tour. So naturally, every day it happens that people come and talk to you because of the bicycle and ask you where you're going, etc. And you can enhance that even more if you look the people into the eyes, if you talk to them, if you greet them, and if you engage in a conversation. And based on that, a lot of interesting experiences can happen. For example, I got a private tour of a wine press house just because I was standing outside. I was filming the old press outside and asking some questions. And one thing led to another, and that was it. And at the same occasion, I was approached by someone cycling by, and after the wine press house tour, I found myself with a nice cup of tea and Linzer cake, and learned and played my very first game of Go. So thank you Hans for that. Sadle Soreness prevention cream. If you're new to long distance cycle touring, I would recommend you to use a cream to prevent saddle soreness. And I used it in the beginning and still have it, and I never had problems with saddle soreness, luckily, so fingers crossed. Choose the right tent. Quite often you will be in a situation that you're in a hut or another surface where you can't use tent stakes, and for that reason I would recommend you to get a tent which can stand on its own. So that means it does not need tent stakes to support the structure of the tent. I, for example, have one of these, and it served me pretty well in that occasion. Push it, don't fold it. That refers to all kind of fabrics and other stuff you have to put into your bag. So for example, sleeping bag, the tent, in my case also the chair I'm also having with me. So my recommendation is to try before like putting a special folding pattern or rolling, and you know what I mean, just take the bag and push it inside. And if that does not work from the space, then you might have to try to fold it in a specific pattern. But otherwise, just push it in. Physical preparation. So my physical preparation was not existent. So I did not have any motivation to go, for example, for a longer ride before with the gear, because my main motivation for the trip is change. So I want to experience new things, and obviously you don't have new things, new landscape and surroundings at home. And what I read before from a lot of other people is that your physical body builds a strength while being on the road, and I can approve that point. That also means to take it slow in the beginning, to not put too much exhaustion on your body, and that something you will get some long-lasting injury. So that would be like one of the worst cases. So my recommendation is, if you don't feel like doing any physical preparation, which is completely fine, you don't have to do it if you don't want or you can't do it. Take it slow in the beginning and then build up the strength from there. Route planning. Of course, that is highly subjective, but I can only speak about my personal preference. So what I like to do is to plan the route for the next day, the night before. So I already know what my day tomorrow will bring, where I will end up. Of course, it's not a fixed plan, so sometimes I'm deviating from it and then stopping earlier or later, depending on weather, or if I find a nice spot, then I just stay there earlier. But I really like the feeling of having it planned the day before. And if it comes to the longer trip planning, so just not talking about the day level, but the trip itself, I would recommend you to have a goal in mind to be, but not to plan every detail on the trip. Because on the one hand, it kind of takes the fun out of it, because sometimes some people recommend you to go there, and you're like, nah, I want to go this route because I planned it before, yada yada. But yeah, I would not do that, but it helps to have a rough goal in mind, because otherwise you're just wandering around kind of aimlessly, and that's not really recommendable. Stretching. So please learn here from my mistake. I did not do any stretching for the first weeks, and I could feel like especially pain in my muscles in the upper thigh arms hurting even more than before. So actually now also when I'm just walking. And I thought, it's just muscle soreness, so it means the muscle is getting bigger and stronger, and that hurts, and just put it down to that. The thing is that it did not really stop from hurting, and that also led me to take a break just recently, because it was getting more and more painful, and also when I just started. And now I'm putting more time and effort into stretching and learning some new stretching routines. So if you want to prevent that happening to you, I can just highly recommend to do some stretching. It doesn't have to be long, it can be 5 to 10 minutes. Make your own experiences. So it's of course a little ironic to say that after a 10-minute tip video about bicycle touring, yet I believe there's a lot of truth in it. You will notice while preparing that a lot of people have something small to say about how to pack, where to go, the route, and everything is about everything basically. And I just want to emphasize on, as so often, there might be some truth in it, but also there does not necessarily have to be. So it's the most important thing is to start, to make your own experiences, and you can always adapt. And that refers to a lot of points, but make it your own journey. It is your own journey. If you decide to ride 30 kilometers a day, that's totally fine. If you want to combine with a train and not just cycle, it's also fine. So it does not really matter what the other people do or say. So go out there, hop on your bike, and see you on the road. Now we are at the end of the video. I hope these tips will help you for your first cycle tour. I have a lot of other videos coming up. For example, I will talk about my budget, my gear, and a lot of other topics. So make sure to subscribe to be notified when they will be released. And if you have any other specific questions about any topic, just write me in the comments. I will either answer it in the comments directly, or I will make a video about it. Peace.